Snakebite, it's such an honour to have you sitting here with me. You're a legend of the game, and I just want to go over a few things with you about your experience and your history. Well, 2016, CLG, champions with them. 2017, champions with Optic Gaming. And now we've got a brand new independent team.
Brand new.
I'm super excited for this. Talk to me about the experience and how you guys managed to get there.
I mean, it's been a journey, you know, from all the way back from 2016. We formed, just kind of want to make the best roster possible, and it stayed that way this whole time. And then now being a part of TOX, being our own independent team, it's just a really cool experience. The whole community kind of banded together. We're super grateful. I don't know how we made everything possible in such a short period of time, but it's a cool experience. Hopefully we can make some fans proud.
Are you getting a lot of support from fans at the moment as well?
Yeah, it's been from the Halo community to everyone. Just a lot of people, I think, can relate to the independent team and just trying to represent yourselves properly, and it's been crazy.
Well, we're here, Halo World Championship Finals. Unbelievable. I bet you're so excited to get out there and play. Now, I'd usually be sitting here speaking to you about how you're looking like to take the first place, but throughout the season, we have seen a team emerge, Splice. They're looking very sharp at the moment, and have taken some of the wins, Orlando, Columbus, from you guys. Now, are you feeling a little bit nervous about that, or how are you feeling coming into this championship?
It feels the same, honestly. Our team is really good about whether we win, whether we lose. I think our confidence really stays the same. You know, obviously when you lose, you have a little bit more to work on, but it really doesn't feel like we lost the last event. You know, in our eyes, we just have to play our game, and hopefully things will go our way. So losing is always rough, but didn't mess with our confidence or anything like that. How
do you guys feel not being the favorites going into this championship?
I think it takes some pressure off, if anything, you know.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. The first one, it was like we were the clear favorites for the first one, and it was kind of like if we didn't win it, it was this massive just choke. For the second one, a lot of people wanted to see the two-peat, but Envy was kind of like right there, so there was still pressure where we were the favorites, but like there was this team who's beaten us now because before we've only lost to EG, and EG broke up, and then now with Splice, there's definitely it's like a different kind of pressure because you want the three-peat. We don't talk about it a lot, but we want it. But yeah, it's a different kind of pressure.
Speaking about that, obviously everyone's looking for history to repeat itself. A lot of your fans definitely want this three-peat under the belt. Now, what would it mean to you to be able to actually deliver that?
It would mean a lot. I mean, the first two, I feel like if the first two are awesome, but for this one specifically, just how things have gone, representing ourselves, I think it would just mean something a little more, maybe, just because we're just playing for ourselves for this one. You know, we love all the fans from Optic to CLG, and I feel like they've kind of came with us now, but I think it would just be like a cool moment for us. Getting 2 is cool, but 3 is a little better.
And finally, probably the biggest question of all, how would it feel to finally beat Splice?
It'd feel good. We came close last event, so we know how it feels a little bit, but we didn't finish off the event like we're supposed to. So it would be good. You know, every team forms to be the #1 squad. It's kind of like an over hyped thing when rosters form and stuff, but we knew when the Splice roster formed, we've always talked up Stellar and Eco. We knew how good Shots and Renegade were. You know, they put together really fast when they formed, so to finally beat them, since we haven't closed out the event against them, it would mean a lot.
Amazing. I can't wait to see you guys in action, and hopefully a three-peat is on the cards.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Snakebite, for joining me, and I will see you later on in the tournament.
Thank you.
Royal 2, Snakebite, Lethal, Frosty. You've seen there's Counter Logic Gaming, Optic Gaming, and now TOX Gaming. Dan, this is an absolute dynasty so far. They are the back-to-back Halo World Champions, the 2-time, baby. You don't get a name like that, you don't get a status like that if you don't deserve it. These are undoubtedly some of the greatest Halo players of all time.
And I love what they said as well about the three-peat and what it would mean to them. It's that extra special moment. Of course, what's happened with recent events, them having their own organization now, it would mean so much. But first, they need to get over these hurdles. They need to beat the likes of Elevate. Can Elevate put up a really good fight against TOX? That remains to be seen. We've seen them go up against the likes of Envy. That's been their only real test so far this tournament, and they lost 3-1. So I'm really excited to see how they do going up against TOX.
So one thing we do have to remember is that when you're looking across this board, L-Town and Suspector, Back in 2016, they actually came second to these guys at the World Championship. They walked home with $500,000 themselves, obviously alongside Nadine and Kratos as well. So they've been at the top. They know what it's like to play not only on a main stage, but on a world finals, grand final stage. They've been there before. Can they do it again? This is definitely going to be a harsh series, I want to say. You know, we can't beat around the bush here. This is going to be difficult. Obviously, you've got Arctic and Sabinator joining the roster here of Elevate as well. It's not going to be easy. Let's take a look how this one's going to play out. TOX versus Elevate. Of course, we are now in best of 7. They are on their journey through the championship bracket. We're in the upper bracket here, the winners bracket round 1. Strongholds on Empire. Moving into Slayer the Rig, CTF Truth, and game number 4, Strongholds on Plaza if we need them. 5, 6, 7. It's going to be Slayer on Regret, and didn't catch the last 2 games. But either way, I think potentially the game might actually be underway. So I think we have to dive on into this. If I know that was completely my bad. That one's a warm-up game for now.
I can tell you the last 2 games if you really want as well.
Go on then, let's run it through.
Capture the Flag, Fathom, and Slayer Coliseum are going to be games 6 and 7 if we need them. Will we need them? In my opinion, I'm highly doubting it. We did just see Infuse take 1 game off of Splice, and we just saw the gods bleed, as it were. No one knew whether they would drop a game kind of at this event. How good were they going to be? Now it's TOX's time to shine. The game types look pretty good for them. If we look at it statistically, Strongholds Empire is a very bad game for Elevate. It's actually their worst game statistically. Only a 22% win rate across online scrims, and they're also 0 and 2 across LAN events, including this event and Columbus as well. So it's a perfect start for TOX to kind of just assert their dominance over Elevate. Just say, we're here to play. We can just smash this one out, get a 4-0, and move on through the winners bracket.
Okay, so I want you to kind of put yourself in the coaching seat of Elevate now. If you could, I mean, this is really, really hard to say, but if there were one thing you could tell the team right now, if there were any kind of particular weakness within that TOX rank, and you could kind of give them a bit of information, like a bit of a booster going into this, what would you say to them?
They are beatable. This TOX lineup is definitely not unbeatable. We've seen them lose before, and my advice would be just play your game. Pretend that you're not playing against TOX. Pretend you're not playing against the likes of Splice, for example. Just go into it, pretend you're nice and comfortable at home. Do what you do best. Yes, okay, this first game type isn't the best for them. Statistics say that. But if you do have a bad game type, that means you've had those chances to go back, watch the VODs, and improve on that. You'd expect, if it's definitely the weakest game type, you 100% know they've gone into that practice room, they've looked at what's wrong, and you'd like to think they've probably improved on those bad areas. So I'd say just focus on the positives for now. Anything can happen at these tournaments, and just give it your all.
So, looking further afield, obviously further down the line, this is only champ bracket round 1. There's still a lot of things to do. 2 teams do have to, unfortunately, leave us today alongside the 2, 4, 6, 8 teams that have already left us throughout the pool play. Obviously, we started off with 16 yesterday. We're now down to 8. It's a big stage. There's a lot of money on the line. How do you think for the European boys? Just while we're getting this one kicked up in the back, what do you think? What's your thoughts on them so far?
I mean, it's great that Infused have managed to break into that top 8. Of course, it was a difficult situation for them to go up against Splice in the winners bracket round 1, but it was a nice chance for them to put out the feelers, see where they stand, whether they can move on through the tournament. The fact they got 1 map off of Splice will certainly give them a little bit of confidence. I believe they might be facing Renegades in the elimination bracket. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure.
I saw that actually on Twitter.
But I think it might be. That's going to be a tough game type. They're the only European team that's really shown up, if I'm honest. I think the other 3 European teams will agree. They have all fallen pretty short. However, I'm not sure how their practice regime was before the event anyway. But they got top 16 at the World Championships. They made it here. That's what matters. They qualified from their respective regions. The same goes with the ANZ guys and the LATAM guys. I mean, actually, that's a massive story. The LATAM team being able to overturn Fable and being able to finish essentially top 12 is pretty massive.
Okay, so game is loaded in. I think we've got a couple of people sat in the audience. Audience, how y'all doing down there? They're ready to go. The players are ready to go. We're ready to go. Strongholds on Empire, game number 1. Dan, what do you want to see from both of these teams as we head off and kick it off in round 1?
Obviously, rotation's absolutely key. Make sure you're pushing to the blue base if your opposition is taking the red base and vice versa. And we know how important that pit control is early on, but you can see the instant dash in to security to try and get some early dominance from both sides of these teams, but it is going to be Frosty who gets the reward of the camouflage, and he's just going to dodge around just to try and stay alive. So a nice start from TOX here.
Yeah, you can do all you want to try and stay alive against these boys, but it's easier said than done. Now Frosty just opting to stay alive himself, camo in hand, just kind of looking around at what's going on between these two sides. Catches one, avoids the barrel. There's no point in diving in here and wasting this camo, and he knows that as well. This is, again, when you've got a power-up like this, especially on this map, because it is quite, it sounds weird, but the difference between light and dark maps, it does help. The camo got a recent update, well, say recent, a couple of months ago, which made it even harder to see now. One single power-up on a map like Empire can really turn the tides and open up a map in ways that's, it's wild.
It's a shame that Frosty kind of did nothing with that camouflage as well in the grand scheme of things. He had a chance to try and make some plays, but what Elevate did well is they kind of avoided the camouflage. I don't know whether they did that on purpose, but their map positioning is they just completely took Frosty out of the game there. Frosty did have the option to capture red base earlier on, but now off spawn he's going to decide to help teammates grab that because, of course, they saw blue base being taken. Grenades now need to come through. They can't let this pit being taken. Someone needs to contest it nice and early, and there's Frosty with the reset right on time.
Easy reset. You saw the grenade through as well, just standing back for a second. He's getting tanked up and he knows where this play is going to be coming from. Needs to keep eyes on Tower 3 and of course Fan side. This is where they're going to get the split and potentially may even try and push. And in fact, no, look at that Royal 2. You can see there, Matt on your screen left hand side. He decides to push the player at Tower and stop and block this one off. Frosty has the information. I like the position that he's in. He's going to stand here, be the bodyguard, play the waiting game for a second, buy some time. One player drops down. He'll drill this one, then his teammate comes in, Royal 2 again. He's still on this Tower side. Now, how important is it, Dan, with what you can see out of Royal 2 and Frosty doing here, just blocking Tower? What does this do to the rest of the map?
But it's really important right now because Overshield and Camouflage are spawning right this second, so Frosty's going to back off, probably grab this Camouflage as it comes up. Overshield on the other side is going to be spawning as well, so if they've got that on track, if they know that that's the case, then they're now going to just be able to pincer this whole map and have a really successful control at this point. L-Town, off spawn, just sprinting. One, you're going to be on radar, and two, you're running straight into a Camouflage of Frosty. But elsewhere, Arctic, Suspector, they're picking up kills. So that Overshield, it didn't actually do too much on the side of TOX.
This is pretty wild. I mean, we're looking at how this one is. They've kind of completely locked it down. They've actually lost pit, which is, it's impressive coming out of Elevate because they've had to kind of just bum rush it, so to speak, and just dive on in a sec. Ooh. Gets it before he dies at least, so they do take it back, and now Royal 2 is going to try and push the triple cap. For a while, though, holding that 2 plot, they weren't bothering to push the triple, and that just kind of speaks volumes about where the team's set up, you know, just kind of locking down middle, locking down tower, locking down fans, really just building a brick wall between them and their actual side on red and moving out of blue. That you can't do anything. You can't get pit, you're going to get smacked. You can't go to red side, you're going to get smacked. What do? You split the team up and slay them. Looking at the kills now. Doesn't really tell that story, though. 24 on the side of TOX, 20 on the side of Elevate.
And that's what separates the great teams from the good teams, right? Is knowing when to hold them, when to fold them, essentially. When to push for that trip cap, when not to push for that trip cap. Sometimes when you've got that control and you are killing them one by one off spawn, you can feel so comfortable with just holding any area of the map. However, if it's a little bit more sporadic, the spawns, if people are all over the place, you can just try and split things up by pushing for that trip cap, distracting people temporarily, which allows your teammates to then go and set up once again. As Snakebite's doing some real work, and there's that total control once again. So.
Well, I've just been told, Dan, we do have a listening ready to get locked and loaded. Let's dive on in with the communications on the side of TOX Gaming.
44 OS, 40 camo, 40 camo. I'm gonna get over. 44. 44. We have OS.
DJ, I'm gonna go into blue too. I'm going all the way over flat.
Camo's up as well.
Are you good?
Camo's still up, guys.
Blue window.
I'm in red. They got camo 34.
Yeah, Camo's doing blue security right now.
There's a guy above blue window.
I hear a combo.
I'm coming outside.
Yeah. Come on, guys. I got assassin. Can you help me?
Absolutely. Nice, PJ.
He's one hit on me, bro.
Just live. Three dead.
We know where last guy is. Oh, we still have a 3.
Blue
window. That's camo. He's weak from blue. He's blue flat. Brad, you're on your own. No one's gonna be low.
Camo guys around blue flat. We're still looking for him.
Yeah. All right. I'm nading blue alley. I'm staying red though. Top tower, L-Town.
Nice. Everyone just live. We got the 3. Just live. 2 dead. Everyone in blue. 3.
I vote.
That's guys.
Good game, guys.
Nice. Just live.
Really well.
Good job, guys. Keep this up.
Be quicker on those first.
It wouldn't be a world championship if we didn't have a little bit of body disrespect from Frosty, and great communication all round as well from TOX as they take the first game very comfortably.
Right after that,
really good work from TOX.
We actually still have that communication. I don't know if you guys can hear it as well. It's pretty cool to be able to hear how they're saying and how kind of calm they are, to be honest with you. You know, it's like this is when you look at these two teams. Sorry, not these two teams in specific, but TOX and Splice. There's never any standing up, going wild. We saw APG in the previous match. You know, your Eric Ronas, your Brett Naded Leonards, you know, getting up, getting hyper, sparring the dog. You don't see that from this top tier team. It's like, it just feels like it's business.
It is. It's getting the job done. It's doing what you have to do. It's doing what you do every single day. I mean, maybe we'll see a little bit of energy coming out of either Splice or TOX when they actually face up against one another, because they know that's when it matters. They should be winning these games. They should have a comfortable series against Elevate here. And it's nice to see that Frosty's kind of pleasing the crowd with a little bit of a zooming in on the head and a little bit of crouching here and there.
It's like the evolved Halo 5 teabag now. It's I suppose you can actually hear it, Kay. It's like
just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like what you said about their kind of calm communications as well, and just little subtle things like you're on your own, stay alive. Some of these things you don't necessarily hear in, I don't want to say European teams, just lower teams in general that get a little bit flustered with their communications and just start screaming things like P2, top mid, bottom mid, left, right, down, up, all of the directions. Instead, you really need to communicate with your teammates and help them out. But we're going to be diving in to game number 2, which is going to be Slayer Rig. Now, I can say that both teams have been pretty successful on this game type throughout the last 2 LAN events. It's a 3-1 scoreline for TOX and a 2-1 scoreline for Elevate. So a relatively good game type for both.
The thing is, if you're a Halo 5 fan, you've been keeping up with Halo esports, you do know that. Unfortunately for Elevate, we do know that TOX is very, very good at this map.
They are indeed, and the statistics don't lie. I mean, actually, scrim-wise, I'd say that TOX haven't actually performed that well on Slayer Rig as maybe we would have expected them to, but scrims are very different. It's a training ground. It's a chance for you to try new things, try new strategies, for example. And they've got a 2-1 lead and a camouflage to start the game. So they've done well. They've got that starting strategy out the way, and they've been rewarded with the camouflage.
Tower side locked down here with camo. You can hear it flashing in the back. It means he's going to be losing that anytime soon. DMR as well. Pre-nading. Oh, look at that. He actually read it like a book. He knew exactly where they're going to be coming from. He calls for some support and it comes through. Easy kill. Second, look at that. You see, that's what's scary. 2 people try and flush him. They've had a third stepped up to the plate now. They've literally all just succumbed to the power of TOX there. They try and rush PJ. Killfeed says it all, mate. They're literally getting mobbed up and they're baiting. They're getting baited into a trap.
It's the same with Splice. They literally just encourage...
Why are they giving him kills?
They encourage their opposition to just come towards them. And off spawn, your opposition is just forced to actually push somewhere because TOX are in so many advantageous positions. They've got height advantage half the time. They've got the power positions. The Elevate are just so worthless off spawn that they have to make a decision. And unfortunately, they're going towards Snakebite and he has so much help every single time.
He's going to back up here, and the reason he's done that, I'll try and block the spawn. Oh dear.
Yeah, would you rather push into a sniper? Well, exactly. That's why they're going towards Snakebite.
The information will come through. We just see the player just go soaring. And now we'll jump down underpass. He's lined up the no-scope. Go on, do him. Do him again. Misses one, tanks up. Russ comes through and he's going to stay alive. Bring him around the Rosie on the platform. One player will chase him. Finally, they do box him in and take him down. Suspector and Sabinator, they're going to pick up one apiece, so they can try and get back into this one. 13-5. This is escalating pretty quickly. Look at that, the second that he gets camo. I mean, that was just all to do with the pressure. They applied it so much, he had nowhere to go, fell off the map. Suspector finds 2. Wobble, wobble, wobble. See you later, my friend. Rather unfortunate. This is TOX Gaming. Absolutely on point with teamwork. This is incredible.
This is World Championship TOX Gaming. That's what it is, Sims. We know that what they're capable of when they get to these big tournaments. They're out here to prove a point. They didn't even care that Elevator picked up the camouflage. 3 of TOX members all just turned around and said, all right, we'll just get him off the map. We'll stop them from getting any advantage off of these power-ups. It is incredible, the sheer teamwork that this team has to offer. Their communication is absolutely phenomenal.
It's ridiculous. Sniper rifle's going to pop any second. There it is. More than likely going to be a TOX Gaming member who picks it up. We'll see if Frosty gets a hold of it because he has been... Yeah, like Frosty's having a tournament of his life this weekend so far. Just world-starring everybody from across the map. Lethal Scar showing the kill feeds. That's another power-up in their hands. I'm trying to look across all the POVs. Who actually has the snipper? Where are we? Maybe it's... Oh, no, it's actually L-Town. Okay, so we do have it on Elevate's side. Sal needs to make something happen with this one. Looking towards the tower, see if anyone wants to try and push him. He's got someone on the seawall, so if they want to try and push, they can do. Also dipping down low scatter shot. So they have all the power weapons, goes for the no-scope. That should easily get picked up. You can see Arctic in the kill feed. Sabernet is going to push but try and give him some defense. One drops down, easy kill. That's what you want to be doing. You want to listen out for these call-outs, take the easy one-shots, take the cleanups. Because if you just heard, enemy halfway to victory, and they only have 14 kills.
It's been good patience from L-Town with the sniper rifle. Despite the fact he's not hit any shots yet, he was quite tempted to push with the scatter shot of his teammate to try and get aggressive, try and get a power position over at Carbine. But instead, he's just going to sit here at Engine 2, hope to find a connection with one of these sniper rifles. But the important thing, he's not giving that sniper rifle away to the enemy team. If TOX get hold of it, you know how deadly it can be. But now with the sniper bullets out, L-Town can get involved. He wants a little bit of action. He's looking for blood, and he gets a double as a reward.
1, 2, 3 members of TOX down. Now they can rally themselves together, get a bit of a map placement. I mean, I'm saying that actually doesn't mean jack, because at the moment they're down by a lot of kills. It's them that have to do the work. It's them that have to approach TOX and try and make something happen. TOX can do what they did at the start. They can just sit back in bunker, bait all the players in, kill them on arrival. No problems whatsoever. I honestly think Elevate give away far too many deaths at the start. There were no reason to be pushing PJ over and over again, especially in that back corner. I know they were still down in kills, but I think they must have fed him maybe 5, 6, potentially even 7. Sees on the radar someone down in pipes. He'll follow this one through. Player gets his shield back. He's still chasing around. Frosty goes down. Arctic picks up one as well. Royal 2, 1, 2, 3 members. That's the last guy alive here for TOX. Where's his teammates? Where's his help coming through? Banks it off the wall. Royal 2 just absolutely dusts him to a million pieces.
You can see the respect that TOX actually have for Elevate in this game and how they're playing. As you've said quite a few times, they're playing quite defensive. They're kind of baiting Elevate towards them rather than being really aggressive with their rotations, which is very different to what we saw in pool play. In pool play, they just kind of wanted to get the job done and they would push everything and anything off spawn. But now they're starting to get this 9, 10 kill lead. We might see them just crank it up a notch, just start to push a little bit more aggressively, especially when they have the likes of a scatter shot in their back pocket to be able to finish off kills nice and quickly.
Frosty 10 kills, Royal 2 11 kills, Snakebite 7, Lethal 5. Yeah, this is looking rough, man. 25 to 33. Lethal's having a nice little game. I'm seeing the kill feed now. He seems to have warmed up. One person up at tower. He's just kind of wandering around there. Does come down upon him. Royal 2 comes in with the assist there.
Camouflage coming up in 7 seconds as well. So look for both teams trying to set up, see who can grab this one. We have seen one taken from both teams thus far as Arctic is trying to hit as much no-scopes as possible. Camouflage is up now, and there is Lethal straight on the mark. Instantly knows when to grab it, but he is being shot from elsewhere. So really good work from Elevate to make sure that they just clear that Camouflage out of the game.
I think he actually no-scoped him. I'm sure I saw a snapshot medal come in, so no-scoped him with the camo. Takes him down. Snakebite can now move. Helps to dip down low, and I like this because it's the last place you'd have expected him to go, to be honest. If you look at that rotation, dip down low into the pipes and make your way. That's amazing. Rather than run Engine 2 side, go up or go underpass, dip down low, rotate around. Now he's behind them, no scope, taps him in the head. That's a one-shot, nice and clean and easy. Go for the no scope again, tries to quick it. Does he have any grenades? No, he does not. Nice little angle, but unfortunately the shot will not connect. Now he knows this one player is underneath Nest, so he's got to be very, very aware. The grenade has given him away, and the problem is sometimes when you're throwing grenades left, right, and center, you're just telling people where you are. It's like a homing beacon.
I mean, TOX haven't looked that dominant in this game, but you might be wondering, well, how do they have a 12-kill lead? You've just got to look at the deaths on the side of TOX. I mean, I think Royal 2 currently only has 6. He's got 15 kills as well. They've done so well at staying alive. Anytime they feel like they're at a disadvantageous position, they just back off and they just take that extra second. They ask for that little bit of help from a teammate. They get that support, and then they just swarm. And there's a triple from Frosty. Unfortunately, gets shot down by the scatter shot.
Yeah, it goes for another over, and that would have been his, I think, the 3rd of the weekend if he'd have managed to. He'd had 3 overkills in 2 days if he would have picked that one up. That's absolutely disgusting. What's the man on? Let's look at his kills at the moment. 15 and 11. So, again, having an absolutely cracking game from Bradley. Royal 2 taking up the position over on Engine side. Frosty comes through again for his 16th kill. GG TOX.
Just like clockwork now, TOX really performing well. As I said, the first 2 game types were very strong ones for them. It does get a little bit better for Elevate the further we get into the series, but I'm not sure how far we're going to get into this best of 7, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to end up out of 4-0, but who knows, maybe Elevate are going to suddenly show a surge of energy as we look at the stats here. Royal 2, as I said, 16 and 6. Those deaths are so important, especially in Halo 5. Across other iterations of Halo, it's been very simple as well. Just stay alive, get the kills, and your teammates should be able to help you and get nice assists for you. But a 12 KDA, that's a pretty good way for it to finish a game 2.
I mean, that's a Royal 2 statistic if I've ever seen one. It's something that we know Royal 2 can do. It's stay alive, you know. But it's not only just staying alive, it's getting a massive amount of kills as well. 12.0 KDA is actually ridiculous. Like, especially on a map like Rig, it's quite a small map. So to be allowed to kind of move around and not be stopped and just do your own thing, that's ridiculous. Stat lines like that in Slayer are why this team is just so on point. Communications there, everything that they need. They've got all the tools in the bag, man, but at the end of the day, they're back-to-back world champions. They wouldn't be in this position if the communication and level of play that we're playing at wasn't there.
It's impressive that they can play the game so fast, yet when you watch it, it seems like they're playing it slow. It was almost painful those first 5 minutes just watching Elevate off spawn, just running into death after death, into the TOX trap, as it were. They had so many angles covered, their crossfire was perfect, to say the least, and you can see how they were rewarded with the gulf in difference of kills. But we go into game number 3, Rich, which is going to be a capture the flag on Truth. One of TOX's best game types, it turns out. A 78% win record across online scrims and 3-1 across the last 2 LAN events as well. But it is also one of Elevate's best game types. 62% win rate across online scrims, and they're also at 3-1. So I had this one down as either team being able to win in my prediction. So maybe, just maybe, this might be Elevate's turnaround situation.
It's as if you've actually done some homework on these teams.
I like to do my homework. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm not going to lie.
No, I appreciate it, mate. It's good, because I don't. Anyway, TOX versus Elevate. This is going to be a fantastic game number 3. As you said, both these teams evenly matched on this map, you would have thought. But again, Truth, it's a map that we've been playing for many, many years. We've seen it in many, many iterations, Heretic, Midshift, throughout the Halo universe. Anyone who knows Halo knows exactly kind of what this map is and how exactly it will play out. Nice camo grab coming out of Elevate. Grabbed quite late, to be honest with you, compared to see it off the spawn straight away.
Something that I've noticed that both TOX and Splyce do is they are very passive at the start of the game for camouflages. Instead of just rushing and diving onto the camouflage, they sit back, they wait, they see what happens with it. But it seems like they just lost the early battle, and look at this flag that's being pulled as well. Good kill from Suspector, really good use of dropping the flag and getting shots as well. Looks like this is going to be an early 1-0 lead.
Like it, flag goes in, there you have it, less than a minute. We got a flag on the board for Elevate, a little bit of pressure applied back into the hands of TOX. Now we can crack on with the game and see how this one comes off. The one thing they've got to do though, Dan, they have to get out of the base. They cannot let TOX countercap them, because if they smash them around now, that's exactly what they do. They're really good at it. If you pull a flag, they'll just beat you off the spawn, take your flag from you, they'll kill you while you're capping, and then just run away with it.
I mean, we saw what happened between Splyce and Infuse, right? Splyce was so confident on the spawn traps that they just started running flags top middle. I don't think TOX will have that kind of freedom at any point in this game, because Elevate seem to be giving a much better matchup in comparison. But certainly going 1-0 down is going to be a slight hindrance to TOX's momentum in this game. I'd like to see them start to group up a little bit more at pink, get a little bit more of control, try to start that spawn trap nice and early.
Hey, they've lost maps, they've dropped maps so far this weekend. They are not invincible. We actually just saw on the previous one, Infuse taking a map from Splyce. So these teams can drop games. These teams have been proven that they can lose series. So anything's possible. You want to keep going off. Snakebite gets the goal. Missed that last shot. That's rather unfortunate. It was a great challenge there from Snakebite. But once again, flags in the move. Can he get it up? That's beautiful. That's a big kill as well. Can he bag a second one? If he manages to stop this, it'll be truly incredible. Gets the touch. There's a player up in the Eden. He comes down. He's stuck. But they do manage to get it. Elevator now 2-0 up here on True CTM.
I wasn't lying when I said this is a good game type for Elevate. Camouflage is just spawned as well, so let's check out, see who's trying to dart towards that one. I think it's L-Town who picked it up in the end. So really good work from Elevate to be able to not only capture a flag, but amidst the flag capture, they also get the timing right on the camouflage and also outdo TOX in picking it up.
L-Town finds one. He needs to get this dude out of the base. There's 2 more pressing down on him. You can see on his radar. They're actually just spawned. Flag will get moved. 2 more players are going to run that together side by side. Good kill there from L-Town. He's looking top middle as well because there is support coming down. He'll get the return. You know what, guys? They're up 2-0 at the 9-minute mark. Let's dive on into the communication on the side of Elevate and have a listen to what they have to say.
Watch top mid.
One playing car.
I'm deciding
Two car. One bomb car, one top.
Here.
One's going to our bubble now. Our bubble.
Here, I'm pushing P1.
Yeah, our car.
P2 one shot.
Go on.
Nice. P2, absolute P2.
I'm dead.
Our bubble has 3 shots.
Watch our face,
Nice sub.
I'm in our street. There's 2 P2 guys.
I couldn't, bro. Top mid.
Face looking at you.
He's bottom mid, top mid. Push our street. I'm gonna die from our street. Our street right now. Our street. Watch out P2 and another one's
3 P side. 2 watch out P2. There's 3 P.
Still alive. P1. Guys, I'm under base. P1.
He knows I'm here. Just try and build as long as you can.
P2.
They're Eli on tab.
P2 weak.
Weak as well.
What's up?
I have no idea. One shot, 3 Eli guys.
Got him.
Nice.
He's
on their court, guys. On their court.
Definitely car, guys. Car 2.
Still alive.
Our car slide, I think. Watch our car, guys.
Watching car. I'm here. I'm on their flag.
You push their Eli from here?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Watch P2.
Watch out.
Watch out and watch P3. Top it.
You guys in the flag. How many guys? One shot.
Camo's
Yo, top mid weak right now, lethal.
Yeah, P2 on you, hit him.
Top mid weak.
Weak there,
Camo.
was he in top mid? P door.
Yeah, he's the window now.
You're right, I'm here, back up.
Jumping Cardic, 1
10
shot.
seconds for Camo.
I'm running.
Intensity and hype, Dan. Now that's the biggest difference between these two teams. Remember, we go on the communication on the TOX side. It's calm, collective, it's communication. This is kind of the Nady talk that I was talking about. They breed off the hype, they live off the hype, and sure they should. 3-2-0, Elevate answer back. They take Truth TTF from the reigning 2-time back-to-back world champions. 3-0, Dan. That's a damn good scoreline.
You know what I hated about school? When I did homework and I got it wrong, but this time I did some homework and I got it right for once. What a game type that was for Elevate, and they are going to really feed off that energy now. You could hear it in their communication. You could hear how much they were pumped to get this victory, to take a game off TOX, take a game off the current world champions.
Look at all those 7s. Lucky number 7. 7 kills, 7 kills, 7 kills. 7 assists, 7 deaths, 7 deaths. I'll tell you what, luck was definitely well and truly on their side. Have a look at the kills for a second. They, you know, it wasn't a massive outslay. It was pretty much neck and neck, 33-31. Straight up, objective proficiency.
Just doing really well to control P-side, to get those camouflages. I think they got every camouflage, and that's really going to help when, of course, you're just trying to get behind an opponent, trying to be a little bit of a sneaky beaver. It can just be absolutely incredible to help one of those individual pushes. And they were just pulling flags at the right times. They were running in the right way. They were getting the important slays when they needed to get them. I was really impressed with Elevate, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the kickstart they needed in this series, Rich, because we were looking at maybe a TOX 4-0 to begin with, but Elevate have really shown up now, and I'm hoping they've got some momentum behind them.
Well, you know what, that's kind of put the fires in the bellies. They've said, okay, boys, we can actually, you know, we can do this. We can take maps from them, and it's not as if, I mean, look at the scoreline. It's not as if it was a good game, an easy game. It was kind of an easy game, honestly. A 3-0, fair enough. Even in slays, pretty much. We'll see how this one goes. They lost the earlier Strongholds, but we're back here. Different map this time. We are on Strongholds. Really quickly, guys, if you are just joining us online, thank you very much for joining us this weekend today and all weekend long. It's a pleasure. This is the Halo World Championship 2018. $1 million on the line. Make sure you are tweeting this out, sharing all the streams using the hashtag HaloWC. I want to get your tweets. I want to get you guys involved. We can bring them up on the stream. We can read some of those out. Give us your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win this? Who's been your MVP of the weekend so far? We want to hear your thoughts. Get those tweets in as soon as possible. And I'm not encouraging you to go anywhere. You want to stay here at the end of the day. But if you want to open like multi-Twitch, for example, we do have a side station. We do have a Bravo station going on. That's twitch.tv/HCS. Make sure you give that account a follow because that is, well, Halo Esports, to be honest with you. You've got Halo and HCS now, so make sure you're following both of those. I'm sure they'll be used going forward now and in the future. Dan, game 4. It's looking good, buddy. It's looking good. What do you think? Tie it up?
We go to Strongholds Plaza, and you know I'm itching to say my homework.
I have my statistics
I have my
for you.
statistics ready for everyone.
Go, go, go.
Strongholds Plaza, across the last 2 LAN events, or this LAN event and the last one, TOX are 2-1. Scrim results have been very successful for them on Strongholds, though. On the other side for Elevate, only a 47% win rate on scrims, and they are 1-2 in their last 3 games at LAN events. They have struggled to kind of keep control of the early game. I've certainly noticed that from Elevate on Strongholds Plaza. So I'm hoping that they've gone and they've studied and they've got a nice starting strategy to burst out of the blocks against TOX, get control of that early game, because their mid to late game has been relatively successful from what I've seen. So they just need to get that early lead so that they're rewarded for it later on.
All right, rock and roll, pedal to the metal. Here we go. Initial grenades go down. Who's going to grab this first camo? Looks like L-Town will bail on that one, unfortunately, though. Royal 2's got his number covered. He knows which angle he's going to be coming from. No shields. Oh, my. Oh, snake bite. You got to finish that one off, buddy, which he does. He was super close, though. Frosty drops down. That's camo. That's burnt. That's gone. Royal 2 with the shotgun. Anybody wants to come into this cafe, this is not going to be a very nice tasting coffee. It's going to be full of lead. Playing defensive, though. I like it.
I mean, it's what they've been doing the whole series. They haven't been too aggressive. They've been very passive in their play. Like I said, a lot of respect for Elevate. They don't have bottom mid at the moment, but you can see that ticking round. They're going for it. And Royal 2 is going to join his teammates in there as well. But they know that someone's around, so they all hunt like a pack of wolves to make sure that that person falls. They get the control, and now they're going to start to set up. And now we're going to see Royal 2 have a chance to do some real damage with this shotgun.
Yeah, such a nasty weapon. It spawns so fast. I think it's 20 seconds after drop. He'll just wander around, stay off the radar. He's going to help his teammate out, so he picks up a double and keeps his teammate alive. They'll both be on this platform together, so they can at least get the speed going up. Transfer it back into the hands of TOX Gaming. Scoping in on the spawn, see if anyone wants to come down from loop. Players dropping down, 1, 2, 3, so he has the information. He'll be calling that out. You can guarantee Royal 1 will be in the background. The coach, Chris Fiorante. They'll be talking and saying, okay, they'll be dropping down, looking potentially at bottom mid. He can now see the bullets of this light rifle around the corner, so he knows they're on driveway. Thrust comes through, nails him in the body, down he goes. And the light rifle on this map in particular, this is obviously when we play Slayer, this is where you, generally speaking, take the sniper rifle. But the light rifle itself is just as nasty. 3 shots to the head and they're dead.
You can do a similar job in the grand scheme of things. Like, you can take a distance, you can do some real damage with it, you can communicate with your team, you can use it the sight lines to spot out enemies as well. But when you have a shotgun in your back pocket, you're going to feel so comfortable at roaming anywhere in the map, really. As now TOX, they're getting aggressive. Now they're going for the total control. And look, all 3 strongholds are held. They know they're going to be spawning at Cafe and Yard, so that's why Royal 2 is kind of zooming in and waiting just to communicate with his team. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just wait. They allow Elevate to push out and push towards them, but a shotgun shot is missed. And that's going to be Sabinator taking Royal 2 down finally.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Thrust to the left and just knocks him out the back. To be honest, if your shotgun goes down, Sabinator will find it, but unfortunately can't make any use of it. Could have tried to scope in and really secure the spread, but doesn't find a target whatsoever. Lethal steps up to the plate and says, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That could have been so close. Reversal comes through as he jumps onto Spectre's POV. Tags up to the nest. Frosty says, not today, my friend. This one's mine. But they do have 2 plots and the time is still ticking down.
I am being told that elsewhere, Reciprocity 4-0 straight ripping as well. What a fantastic result that is for any Reciprocity fans out there. For straight, they're going to have to try their luck in the elimination bracket. Meanwhile, Elevate now starting to put a bit more points on the board, but just as I say that, Royal 2 is straight in there to make sure that that is going to get reset at bottom middle.
Royal 2 eyes on the prize. 3 grenades yards, so you can get a hit markers and information, more importantly. Let's go, TOX. Come on, show Elevate what you got.
Show me what you got.
That's from Don Walking. Thank you, Don. Remember, you guys can tweet in. We'll get more of them up throughout the entirety of this weekend. Use the hashtag HaloWC so we can get eyes on them and we can drag more up. Who do you think is going to win? Who's your man of the match? Who's your MVP so far? Who are you supporting? Let us know. Royal 2's POV, we're actually looking at TOX. They're currently walking away with this one in the lead. Tell you what, let's take a listen to their communication and see how it's going as soon as, well, this what, yeah, okay. As soon as we go into lethal, curse of the cast, and he's down. We're on Frosty's POV. Let's dive on in to a listening.
Camo?
One in nest.
40.
Nest and
Go defend that nest.
Yeah, let's find nest,
Camo's 40, guys. I'm gonna go for it. Nice.
I'm looking
Camo 40.
I'm looking at
ramp on me.
Yeah.
After this camo.
Or driveway.
Yeah. 40 PJ, 40.
Soda. I have death cam top.
Dude, look, camo when we spawn, they're gonna be on it. They're gonna be on camo right when we spawn. Up now. Maybe have death cam on it?
I spawned lift. I'm at lift, guys.
I'm just gonna time it now.
In yard nest.
Yeah. Let's try to find nest.
I traded with one.
Okay, we're gonna have camo, guys. Just be aware. Yeah. LR and Soda going posters right now. Sorry.
That's going bottom left. I think they have camo at Nest.
Yeah, they might.
That guy's weak top Nest. I hit him twice.
I got it.
Soda subs.
Yeah, TJ.
I'm gonna die. Camo somewhere around us dip or
Top yellow,
something.
Top yellow.
You guys can count that together, Matt. You just hide.
Hey, pal. Top yellow, Arctic. Say name.
Matt's on blue, Matt.
Yep. Zip,
MLR.
One hit.
In top yellow shotty.
Truck and Nest.
One at Nest.
There's 2 at Nest. Top yellow is still looking pretty, PJ. Just don't. Show me, PJ. Watch a nade.
Do a nest still.
You're making Nest.
Absolute suspect that there's 2 there.
You guys one hit bottom mid. There's bottom. Soda steps on your breath.
Let's do some red bars.
One hit low LR.
Yeah, 2 nest wall. 2 nest
LR. Camo's gonna be running out.
Both
running towards top mid.
Yep. That's Soda.
You Soda weak.
Shot you guys one hit and flower door. He's flower door to yard. You guys should go yard. Right?
Yeah.
Or go.
Soda weak. Soda weak.
Go Nest together. Flower door, shotty.
Soda dead.
I need Soda numbers.
One scafe. LR on me.
DJ, worry about jets. You hard jets here.
One's in yard.
Can't see LR.
One's hotel.
I'm pushing hotel.
So we do get to witness kind of the communication when actually you start to throw away a little bit of control there. Elevate were creeping back in. One of the biggest things I noticed, Rich, was there was one point where one of them said, they may have the death camp, so be careful. Now, of course, having the death camp gives you that advantage to have a little bit more freedom, that extra sight on the person. A lot of players do just kind of switch off their death cams and they switch and they look at their teammates to see what they're doing. But sometimes it can be really important to get those extra visuals. So I really like that communication from TOX by saying, actually, do be careful because they might be able to see you around a corner.
The person that you mostly need to be aware of in that is when you're looking towards your coach. If one's dead, just kind of having that 5th man in the back, you can just kind of wangle the camera around, get some sort of an angle on it, and he can just write it all down and then feed that back to the rest of the team, because then you can kind of let that player who's in the death screen come off it, do his own thing. But you can write down and say, okay, boys, this is where they are, this is where we need to go, this is where we need to be moving. You know, and this is when you're looking towards Royal 1, I'm sure Clutch will be able to talk more about it on the desk, about exactly what a coach adds to this game. He's done it with CLG. He coached them to $1 million, for Christ's sake. He knows exactly what needs to be done. You are the 5th man. You are an addition to this team. So having that kind of information, 100% right, and I'm so glad you picked up on it. 82 to 43, time's ticking away. L-Town's POV looks up at Royal 2, will be getting the call out. I'm not seeing any assist medal come through, but where the rest of his teammates are, they don't have any kind of line of sight on him. Lethal will drop. Like, oh, that's a camo. That's a camo. Are they gonna, that's a dead camo, in fact. They will rotate around white cap. They do keep it, they do cap it. But double the scoreline down.
Every time the Elevate kind of band together, they finally have that push where they get a little bit of control. TOX always seem to have a game plan because TOX are still playing this passive way of Halo where they are just waiting for Elevate to make a move. They say, okay, we'll let them take bottom mid, we'll let them push bottom mid. As soon as they do, we have that counteracting play. Then we'll dive in as a unit and we'll take it back ourselves. This is the longest we've seen Elevate actually have some control in this game for quite a while because they're really contesting that bottom middle. It's a bit sloppy down there and TOX are going to be okay with that happening whilst they're only 12 points from winning, but I expect TOX to make a push for bottom middle very shortly.
Good God. I like how they're reading these kind of players. Jumps up on the lamppost and takes a little bit of a peek because he knows he's going to move up behind the light rifle. It's insane. This will be a huge kill if he gets it. Frosty. Oh, it was a great effort. What an effort. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off for him now.
But what Frosty did there by just pushing on his own to yard it allowed his team to now be taking bottom middle. So we need to see Arctic try and compete with this. And these two players really need to stay alive and try and get the reset. But they all fall. There's one more remaining.
Dead.
He goes down as well, though. So TOX, they did so well. Off the back of Frosty's individual push, they get the bottom mid as a reward.
So the question is there, Dan. By committing 3 players now to bottom mid, they put them in the death screen. They've put them back on the rotation, so to speak. They can really set up and just prepare for it.
It's going to be wham bam, thank you ma'am, I think, with just 5 more points remaining. There are a few kills coming in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see there.
Oh,
but
Tony.
even with Suspector getting that shotgun kill, even with them getting bottom middle now, I still think this is probably going to go TOX's way because they seem to have a game plan for every scenario. They've been here, they've done that. They even have a situation where you're not able to grab the camouflage. There was Frosty right hot on his heels to make sure he got it when his teammate died.
I tell you what, this looks good though. They would literally need to play perfect Halo, don't get me wrong. 2 points away from losing this one, but they're not giving up. Arctic top mid, Sabernator is there as well. He's got some support. Shotgun in the pocket if he has to dip down bottom mid. Now this is good because now they'll take Nest. That means that they can actually allow Yard to go away. Because as we can see on the POVs, Yard's actually been taken by the opposing side. Triple cap does give him a couple of points extra, a couple more ticks on the board. They've really spanned this around. This is amazing, but they have to play perfect Halo in order to win this, and if they do, it will be absolutely fantastic. I think TOX would be a little bit tilted, to be honest.
Well, TOX are kind of giving the opportunity to do so by playing that kind of counteracting way of Halo that they're going for. I love this from Arctic, though. Just sitting in, making sure no one can take this, hiding, hoping he doesn't get spotted. Unfortunately, he does get spotted by Snakebite, and that bottom middle is being taken. This is a huge fight. You need Elevate, you need everyone to push in right now, but they don't. TOX get it on the board, and that is going to be game number 4, and that's going to be a 3-1 lead for TOX.
Absolutely fantastic effort right at the very end, but unfortunately it was too little too late. They did rally it back down. I've got to say that they did rally it back, but unfortunately it was just too little too late. Elevate will fall in game number 4. Current scoreline 3-1. Remember, this is a best of 7. Let's take a look at the kills, how it all played out. L-Town not having the best. Saying that, his deaths are pretty low, to be honest, at 10 and 13. 19 and 10 from Royal 2. Once again, going absolutely huge. Bit of a negative out of Snakebite, but no doubt he'll probably be doing the objective work to match up for that, to be honest. Still 2.7k. Generally, let's have a look at the kills. Assists were there. Yeah, 20 deaths, but we're kind of letting get away with it, to be honest with you, because it's Dadbite and I love him. Yeah, even Stevens, pretty good.
One of the key things was the amount of camouflages that were picked up by TOX. They had 4 on the other side for Elevate. It was just that one, but it was that one towards the end of the game that actually got them into the game, per se. So, I mean, it's that start. I said it before the game. I said their mid-game, their end-game is all right, but their starting strategy, they just lost out. They went down by maybe 30, 40 points, and they were constantly trying to claw back into the game because of it.
If they'd have played like they played that last minute of the game, if they'd have played that throughout the series, that more than likely would have won that, because it felt like it was definitely a big old panic push from TOX at the end. Just send 3 players bottom mid and just kind of try and outslay them, which they did. To be fair, they did. They got it. And now they're 1 map away from sending Elevate down to the elimination side of the bracket. Game number 5 is now on your screens. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Regret Team Slayer. Any statistics, Mr. Daniel?
Both teams undefeated across their last 2 LAN events on this map, so someone's going to have to get defeated, and it's going to be interesting to see who manages to actually get the victory here, as an overshield does get picked up nice and early on, but a green gun arrives as Suspector falls. And some early kills from Elevate. They'll be happy to try and get ahead early game. I said that's exactly what they need in any of these games against TOX, is to try and shut them down early and then have that middle to late game fight toe-to-toe rather than trying to claw back from behind.
What do you think this game's going to be like, Dan? Do you think it's going to be a bit more slower paced?
Well, I mean, the way TOX has been playing throughout this series, it's been relatively slow amongst every game type. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it does slow down a little bit. TOX are just allowing Elevate to have a little bit of a foot in the door in every game. But it's been working out for TOX. They've come with a game plan against Elevate, and it's working successfully.
Okay, we're going to stick with TOX for now. As soon as Lethal does die, we will flip over to Elevate. We will go to a listening. I just want to stay with him through the next death, that's all. They're peppering him with the caster, making sure they're trapped in there. His teammates will be able to try and clean these up. Assists will become flying through. 1, 2, 3, though. They're actually answering back. It's going to be Arctic with a double. We did say we'll go to a listening, so let's jump into the communication and see how they're doing as they try and rally themselves back in game number 5.
Nice. One blue needle. One shot. Stay alive, Seb. I'm coming to Seb. Yeah, someone help Seb. I just want red. Back blue. One shot. One on Carson.
Top blue, 2 shots. Absolute. Nice. Shit,
P-door, Seb. Where they were going? Peter still. Peter.
Don't get trapped. Yeah, stay there.
Blue P-door.
Behind you. Alright, OS is 47, guys. 20 seconds. Car 1 shot.
Dude, I got blue. Front blue.
47 OS. 15 seconds.
Bottom mid.
Watch out, bottom mid. Row 2. Watch out. Absolute.
2 on me, blue P Street. One shot P Street.
47.
Yo, we bottom mid. We still have time, guys. Went around. Blue.
Bottom mid, weak.
Watch out, blue needles.
Give it up if we have to.
3 seconds. It's about to be up now.
Nice. Two more bottom mid.
He's on it.
He just got it.
What time?
He's 44. That's on blue, guys. He went red side.
Tell me red.
I'm coming.
It is top car already.
Top car to you. Yo, OS is red Piatic. OS is red Piatic.
Check if you got a combo, yeah?
Watch out for your...
Two red.
Watch out, they might be trying to flank bottom mid. I'm trying to watch out. Oh, what a name. Red P.
You guys red P?
Help me red car.
P2 there's 2 P side. 2 P side. 2 P2.
Watch out red lift. Watch out red lift. Oh, what's his top mid? He's like red bridge.
Top mid, guys.
You're gonna get pushed by OS. Careful.
Red P door. In red flag.
I'm top mid right now.
Watch out, left.
Nice.
He's OS. 3 there, dude. One's red car. One's red car.
Red P.
On the jump up, guys. I'm waiting for you guys.
Top mid car too. One pushing blue car already. One's pushing blue. My bridge, guys. My bridge. Any help? Any help?
Bottom blue. Bottom blue.
Bottom blue. Watch out, bottom blue. Nice. I'm on right.
P2. Alright, get on
I mean,
top of them
blue
now.
corner. My corner. My corner.
I'm in
P2. One shot. I killed him.
Nice.
Left. My left. He lifted up blue.
3 dead. 3 dead. One more guy.
I'm looking.
One just spawned up. One just spawned up.
He's down low. He's down low. I don't see him. He's blue somewhere. He's blue tunnel. Blue tunnel.
You know, mixed feelings there, mixed emotions. Definitely that hype that they need to bring, but also a little bit of defeat as well. It's like, oh, another good nade. Oh, he's got me again. It just felt like a little bit of a disappointment, to be honest. And that's not what you want when you're down in kills like this. I know it's disheartening, but you've got to get your head back in the game, man.
It's that early game once again, though. They've fallen by 10, far too early than they would have liked. The plasma caster on the side of TOX has actually been very detrimental towards Elevate. We've seen it several times being picked up and just doing so much splash damage, and then being able to come through with the pistol shots to assist has worked really well for TOX. Honestly, I am so impressed with how TOX have approached this series. It's certainly not the TOX I was expecting coming into this series and this tournament. They've been playing very differently depending on their opponent, but that would suggest they've done quite a lot of research on each team, and they've got a game plan on how to work. I know a lot of people will say, oh, really, a game plan in Halo? I think these are the kind of guys to go down that route, and I'm really impressed.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. OS is up. Can we finally see it? No, we can't. It's dead again.
Hope is gone.
Hope has gone flying out of the window alongside that overshield, to be honest with you. Elevate managing to grab one, and it's absolutely ripped off his back. He's dead and gone. 35 to 22, 7 minutes 30 remaining. Round the corner, nuke combo. Cracks him in the jawline. Can he pick up a second? No, he can't, but his teammate's there potentially to give some help. Royal 2's just creeping around. He's hunting for more. He smells blood. He sees one on the radar, and he's got the information. Probably won't use the lift, give away his position. He'll opt to just jump up, clamber. Hello, boys. Nice to see you. There's one. There's two.
Oh, that's perfect.
And they're dead.
Perfect grenades,
Yep.
and I'm glad we're on Royal 2's point of view as well, because we always highlight your Frosty, your Snakebite, but Royal 2 has died so little in this series. It's absolutely phenomenal how much he stays alive. As I say that, he still stays alive thanks to assist from Frosty. He's 13-3, make that 13-4 in this game. I'm really impressed with his movement around the map, his knowledge of where to be, where not to be. It's a real fine thing to watch in this game of Halo.
Especially when you look at Slayer. I mean, we always say it's a game of two halves. It's the first one to get to 50, but you got to stay alive, man. If you're giving away kills, you're giving away deaths left, right, and center, you're not helping your team out in any way, shape, or form. I suppose even if you're getting, like, you're dropping 25 kills and still getting 25 deaths, sometimes you can question it. Is it really worth it?
Is it? This is the really tough position now for Elevate, where they know they can only spare 5 more deaths before they give away this game. Yet they still have to get aggressive because TOX are just holding top middle and they're waiting for them to come out of spawn. A lot of teams on regret will pincer and they'll push and they'll get aggressive on spawns, but TOX just really have decided that they are more than happy to control top middle in this game type whilst having one player flank round and be that real nuisance, and that's what we see Frosty doing now, and he's picking up those important kills.
Suspect he's having a good game, 12 and 13. But as you say, TOX still need 4 more. 13 out of Snakebite, 14 out of Frosty, 15 and 6 out of Royal 2. He's having an absolutely blinder of a game. Lethal's on 4 and 12, but we won't say anything about that one. Suspector with the fresh OS, now they've actually got a power-up, Dan. Let's see if they can make something happen. Because honestly, again, it's too little too late. They've got to 38. They might not even make the 40 mark if they're not careful. TOX only need 2 more kills.
Yeah, you spoke about playing Perfect Halo in a previous game. They 100% need to play Perfect Halo now as they get aggressive. Suspector gets a double kill, but it's probably too little too late, as now the TOX family is going to be swarming to try and finish this game off. You said Lethal's going negative, but I will save him. He does have 11 assists as well. He has been an assist monster, and look, he's just waiting around to see if anyone had dropped for that overshield. Where did that overshield go? And there's the final kill. TOX take the series 4-1. A very comfortable series. They had a game plan, they stuck to it, and it worked wonders. They'll move through to winners bracket round 2. However, Elevate, they move down to the elimination bracket.
Nail in the coffin. There we go. TOX, they're going to continue their run. Nice way to start the journey on Saturday for championship bracket round number 1. We'll take a look at the kills. Observer, just don't highlight lethals. I'll never forgive you for that one. There we go. 14 and 13 from Suspector, 10 and 10 from L-Town, 10-14. Not a great game out of Arctic down at the bottom. 9 assists, 8 and 13. Once again, though, Royal 2. This is the MCC kind of Royal 2 that I remember. Ridiculous numbers, but more importantly, ridiculous deaths. Very, very high kill count. Exceptionally low death count.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there in least deaths across the tournament. It was an absolute wonder to watch. You just witnessed some pretty incredible Halo, a very well-planned, precise version of Halo that we very rarely get to see, but now we are at the most prestigious Halo event of all time, the 2018 World Championships, and it is an incredible event, and that was an incredible series.
It was indeed, Dan. Thank you very much. Enjoyable one, brother. Golden Boy, dudes on the desk. How do you think about that one?
That's right. That's the name of my old high school rap group, Golden Boy and the Dudes on the Desk. That was a good one back in the day. Unfortunately, we just put out one mixtape. Just didn't really work out after that.
Was it a one-hit wonder, like level one, and then you just left it?
Yeah, it was definitely a little flop, kind of like that joke. All right, so
yeah, I was searching the crowd to see if we had any talent out there.
Did not see any.
Oh man. Okay, well, welcome back everyone to the desk. TOX, they get a 3-1, or sorry, a 4-1 victory over Elevate. They move on. Elevate showing us that they can compete. They have kept some of these games close or contested, but TOX, man, they're so good. They're so well put together. And I do want to kind of discuss, though, the true CTF game, only because I feel like Elevate, I mean, to win 3-0 is actually quite dominating as we take a look at the general highlights for the series.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because with true CTF, just in general, you don't really see many 3-0s because it's normally back and forth, but when you do, normally it's very fast. But Elevate, I think they really came to play when it was game 3 because they realised that they had to step things up because, you know, trying to reverse sweep TOX, it would be close to impossible, I think we might say. But, you know, it's nice to see Elevate at least make some kind of comeback in that way, but I think we knew from the start that TOX didn't really have much of a challenge from the start.
Yeah, and then we move forward to game 2 with that 112 victory on Empire Strongholds, which TOX opened things up with. Now we go over to Rig Slayer, and this was just a clinic.
It was. This was the game type I actually thought that Elevate could take in this series. I thought they might take a game. Figured it would be the Rig Slayer. It actually didn't turn out exactly as I thought it might. Elevate are a team that really thrive on not frantic communication, but passionate communication. And often if you don't get a good start on a Slayer map, that communication can fall very flat. And I feel like that's exactly what happened on Rig Slayer, and as a result, they lost that game.
Winning that one 50-34. TOX then felt like it was kind of autopilot at this point, and then that's when we make our way to True CTF Clutch. This was really just odd to see TOX lose 3-0, and I agree with Lethal. It's a really back and forth map, so
yeah,
very awkward scoreline.
Truth Flag has never been one of TOX's strong game types. That being said, you can't get stuck on autopilot. It's Championship Saturday. You're at the 2018 Worlds, and I'm not gonna lie, the fact that they were able to get dismantled like that on CTF Truth, I mean, I know TOX has bad game types, but that can't be happening, especially not against these top 8, top 6 teams that are ranked. I mean, because when you play Splice, they're gonna do something worse to you, and I need to see more out of TOX because they're going into this winter semifinals match, and they're actually going to play people with their individual skill. So TOX is to step it up. I haven't seen enough out of them this weekend.
And in game 4 as well, we saw just quickly on that Plaza Strongholds that Elevate tried to carry that momentum forward, and we spoke about their cons before where, you know, they do follow up from each game, but I think after that game they knew they had a big deficit going into this game too. But you could see that they were trading off quite well with the first couple minutes to begin with, but as you know, TOX doing TOX things, they managed to increase that lead massively, not giving them much of a chance to get that OS apart from the end and dominate the rest of the series.
Right. That being said, I mean, TOX once again taking care of business. They let a game slide. It happens. They are stuck in cruise control. They need to put that thing in 6th gear now, though, because this next team they play, whether or not it's
reciprocity.
It's reciprocity, and reciprocity is
playing pretty well.
Playing very well. I think Mikwin's probably playing his best tournament I've seen him play this season. So to the guys on TOX, you're going to have to, you have that extra gear. You're going to have to need it against Reciprocity.
Yeah, Reciprocity dismantled Straight Rippin' on the Bravo station, winning that one clean 4-0. And in fact, that was the cleanest victory of all the top 4 teams that have competed so far in bracket play. You had Splice dropping a series, TOX dropping a series, and also Envy going all the way to Game 7 with Renegades. So Reciprocity are feeling very, very good right now. So yeah, I mean, Wonderboy, your final thoughts on that game?
Again, not surprising to me that Elevate actually took a game. We've seen in the past that TOX can go into that kind of autopilot mode, and when that happens, a team like Elevate, who have been playing very feisty so far this weekend, they can take advantage of that. I was very surprised it was a truth capture the flag, but I think that bodes well for them in the elimination bracket run that's coming forwards.
Well, gentlemen, now we have our next game. Splice goes up against Envy, and Splice have just looked like a championship caliber team. What we saw from Splice in Orlando, most importantly, is really shining through here. And then also with that championship matchup against TOX in Columbus, that just decimation, to put it lightly, that Splice have put forward. And now they're facing off against Envious, who had a rough game against Renegades. This is, now we're going to see the two top teams really collide here. But Clutch, starting with you, do you feel like this could end up being more of the same, or can Envy make the upset happen?
No, I think this is exactly when the bracket gets interesting. Now we've got 4 teams in the championship winners bracket. And I think these 4 teams have earned these spots. They're the best 4 teams we have at this event, and I think they can all compete with each other. I'm so excited to get these 2 series underway with Envy. I mean, they have what it takes. They didn't play as well as they needed to against Renegade. I mean, I know they squeaked out a win in Game 7, but if they're going to play Splice, they got to be playing better. Trippy, he was the only one that really stuck out to me that last series.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game, but I'm also curious to know what Splice thinks of this matchup. Lottie had an opportunity to chat with Eco a little earlier on about this matchup against the boys in blue. Let's take a look.